You know, this whole Republican insurrection, right? It's all built on lies and everything, right? Fraud, of course. That's the deflection. Because it's really not about the ballot, the election. Was it rigged? Was it all these? Because all those things are lies. All those excuses they come up with are totally made up, fraudulent, invalid. What it's really about is racism. Look who these people are. These Republican wackos are. And they're Nazis. They're Ku Klux Klan. They're Proud Boy racists. Open racists. That's what the real background issue is here. Racism. It's time to change. Really get on this systemic racism in America. It's being shown quite clearly how extensive it is. If you thought it would gone away somehow, it's entirely off. And not only that though, the other big one, it's the Christian fascists. Because the Christian fascists are pushing their little dumbass dark age religion into trying to push it into legislation to justify repression of women and denial of rights for gays. Right? So you got the racists, you got the Christian fascists. That's the big loudness, that's the noise, that's those fools out on the street, that's those criminal terrorists, domestic terrorists. They're the energy, action, destroy things, guns and everything. The money, the real thing behind there are the Republican corporations who have been poisoning and polluting your whole planet. And they're quite well aware that climate change is real. But they are scared because they are liable for poisoning and polluting you. They knew what they were doing was toxic and they did it anyway. Big time. And climate change is real. That means their business enterprise, their billion dollar enterprise that's toxic, has got to end. And their big money is gone. And they don't want that to end either. So you got the racists, you got the Christian wackos, you got the big billionaire corporate criminals that are the real thing. Big one. Just send those nuts out to do their, be the noise and the riots or all the racists out there. Yeah, because that's part of it too. But what's really the money is climate change. And the effort that's going to take to dramatically change the direction of the economics. The whole structure of economics. How you do things. Has to go. Because all of it based on profit was wrong. All of it based on profit was clearly wrong. Look, what you're seeing with COVID. It's showing you how wrong it is. Everything about your economics should be about you. But instead, look what it's about. An abstraction. A nebulous money, profit, money. Not you. That's why they think they can evict you. They threw you out of work because of a pandemic that is ravaging the whole country. So you're out of work, and yet you're supposed to pay rent? That's ludicrous stuff. And it's not just to the landlord himself is also. It's got to take a break too during this pandemic. Because that's what you do if you'd had a real economic structure that was a valid economic structure that was based on you. And it's not. It's based on criminal, Republican, corporate enterprise like Trump. And the wackos are like Pence, Christian fascists. And behind them is the neo-Nazis, Ku Klux Klan. Nazis, folks. That ain't just political. They're trying to say free speech. No, it isn't. Look at the agenda of Nazi, the agenda of racists. It's the destruction of your government, of your rights. They are your enemy. They don't give free speech. Look at what they're doing, advocating and actually trying to do armed insurrection. It's civil war. Come on. And it's led by the Republican Party. The whole Republican Party is no longer somehow claiming it's politics. It's an insurrection based on lies, fraud, lunacy, right, of that ballot crap, to try and stir things up by the real people who are behind it, which are the racists, the Christian fascists, and all the big money of the corporate criminals, scared of the reality of climate change and how dramatic that whole economic thing's got to change. They're out. You got to change the whole big system. You got to go from this drivel, ridiculous, criminal thing called profit to you. Well, what's about you then? Then it's all mutual benefit. Then you work together because it's about you. And so everything about work and all the how you do work and what is work and the environmental impacts of work and the production of things, all that's got to change to fit the intelligence, the science, the medical research, the facts. That's what Republicans can't take. Facts. They're living in lies. They're living in racism, hatred. They're living in wacko mythology, Christian deviance. They're living in a pipe of dream of mystical profit. And you see, it lays waste to everything, just like Trump. Destroys everything. Oh no, it's way bigger. Get off this thing of, it was the ballots, that's why we're having this, we don't believe in it. No, that's bullshit. Look who they really are. Nazis. Christian fascists. It's an insurrection. It's civil war. Republicans are the enemy to America.